Number 1. Okay, Caden, how do we solve that for h?
You just divide by b.
Okay, when it says solve for h, it means get h by itself, so your equation says h equals something. Since 1/3 and b are both multiplied to h, you can get rid of them by dividing. If you divide one side, you divide the other side. So those go away. You get h equals b over 1/3 b.
Oh, this section changed.
Okay, does anybody know what dividing by 1/3 is the same thing as?
Times 3.
It's the same thing as multiplying by 3 over 1.
Yeah.
So instead of putting divide by 1/3, I could have put times 3 over 1, which would just put a 3 on the top. So that would have been a neater answer. 3b over b would have been a neater answer than this, but technically that's okay. So we'll just leave it like that. Okay, anyway, number 3. 3 is definitely the hard one in this group because the x that we're solving for is on the bottom. I think we maybe did one of these, but I'm sure you guys probably forgot what to do. There's a couple things we could do actually. Any ideas?
Multiply by 3.
Okay, the problem is x is on the bottom. Okay, yeah.
Maybe we could get x on the other side, then take z off the other side, then
How could you get x on the other side?
multiply by 3x.
Okay, you can multiply by 3x or just x. If you multiply by x, what happens is that just gets rid of the divide by x. And then you multiply this side by x, and then x is on the top. You see what he's saying there? So if you multiply by x, those go away, so you get y over 3. We could have multiplied by 3 also, but we don't really need to. Whoops. Equals x times z, or xz,
Then you could just divide by z.
and then you divide by z. Okay, dividing by z is the same thing as multiplying by 1 over z. If you multiply by 1 over z, the z just ends up going on the bottom. So if you're dividing by z, what really ends up happening is it just goes in the denominator. Because the denominator is where stuff is being divided, right? It's like y divided by 3, so it would be y divided by 3z. Anyway. I did not put one that hard on the test. I'm talking back in chapter 3, back when we took this test. But it is a good skill to have for sure. We did a couple of them. I think we did like 2 and 4 on the chapter 3 test.
Yes, really.
It snowed.
We thought real?
Oh, wait.
That was real.
You thought it wasn't?
I never thought I'd be in 8th grade.
Huh?
Dude, I can't smell.
We're going to do chapter 3.
Practice about the.
I can't smell
You could see
Okay.
that exactly.
Whoops. Got that mixed around. I want to show you one more trick before we move on to that. Okay,
We did the
He's
same.
been gas ball.
We did the same.
I know.
It's going pretty straight.
So, shh. Oh, yeah, you're right. I see what you're saying. Guys, one other thing. Hey, if x is on the bottom, here's another trick. If two things are equal, then their reciprocals should be equal. You know what I'm saying? If two things are equal, then their reciprocals should be equal. What's reciprocal mean?
-3. Opposite of.
Opposite.
Negative. Opposite.
Flip.
Yeah,
Flip,
like
flip,
Flip. Means flip.
Yeah.
So if y over 3x equals z, and that's like z over 1, right? then 3x over y equals 1 over z. So that gets x out of the bottom. Then we could have multiplied by y, which would have put it on top. And we could have divided by 3, which is like multiplying by 1/3, so that would put 3 on the bottom. So basically when you multiply and divide, they kind of just go to the other side. Multiply by y, it goes to the top. Divide by 3, it goes to the bottom. Anyways, okay. We need to get, you guys need to start getting some of these algebra skills.
And sugar.
Number 5. H over B. This is not as hard as number 3, but it's kind of close.
So much fun. Also, what is
Okay, we're solving that for t, little t there, okay? That's supposed to be a fraction. Looks like a t to me.
Timmy.
Timmy's mom. Whoa, just kidding.
Who?
Alright, how do I get t by itself, Grant?
Okay. Sorry. Do we divide by? I don't know which one to divide by.
It doesn't matter, the
Do we
order.
divide by K or L?
Yeah, divide by k. Okay, when you divide by,
K.
yeah, when you divide by k, that's like multiplying by 1 over k. So really, the k is just going to go in the divisor on the other side. Divide by k, and then divide by k. So k is going to be in the bottom over here. H over bk.
Now do we divide by? Do we times it out?
Okay,
Or do we multiply?
Wait, hold on. How did you get the H over BK again?
h over b
Yeah.
divided by k. So when you divide by k, that's like multiplying by 1 over k. So k just goes into the divisor, into the bottom. Because down at the bottom, that's where stuff is being divided, right? It's h divided by bk. All right. Grant, what's the relationship between these two?
They're being multiplied.
Multiplied.
By,
So we divide. How do we divide a fraction? A over L.
decimal?
No.
You
We multiply by
L over A.
L over A. Because what happens when you multiply by L over A is that happens.
Oh. It's dead.
It becomes 1 over 1, which is just 1 times t is t. So basically this all just goes away. But on this side we multiply by L over A. And what do we get?
LH ABK.
LH over ABK.
That's sick. Trick bomb.
Your mom.
What did she say?
I said your mom.
Did she say you mom or your mom?
Your mom.
You are mom. I'm not a mom.
Okay, number 7 says use proportions to solve. What is a proportion?
2 to 1.
A thingy.
Huh?
Like
2 to 1.
It's
What do you
required.
say?
2 to 1 is a ratio. Ratios are related to proportion.
It's like, yeah, that.
It's like
Okay,
part.
that's a ratio. It's not a proportion.
Oh, it's like the 2 over 3
It's more.
equals
there you-
x over something.
There you go. That's a proportion.
What-
So two equal ratios. This is a proportion. What
Then
did we
you do the
use?
cross multiplying, so it'll be 18.
Okay, we usually
Good job, Sam.
Yes.
Good job.
we usually solve by cross multiplying. 2 times 9 equals 3 times x. Remember doing that?
Yeah.
And anyway, divide by 3 and x is 6. Okay, this is a ratio, 2 to 1. You can write it in fraction form, 2 to 1. But 2 equal ratios is a proportion, and we solved it by cross multiplying. Okay, anyways. Number 7 is talking about triangles. We did a triangle lesson a long time ago, but probably kind of confusing. It says 2 corresponding sides in a pair of similar triangles. What's similar mean?
They're like the same. They're not like the same size, but like the
Same
Shape.
same shape.
shape.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
So they're saying on the corresponding means like the matching parts, correspond means goes together. So they're saying like on the little one it's a 4 and the big one's a 10. And then it says if a second side on the smaller triangle is 10, so where should I put that 10 at? It says, on the second sentence it says, if a second side of the smaller triangle is 10 centimeters, where should I put that 10? I should put it, yeah, here, on the little triangle. Okay, and what should I put on the big triangle now? X. Right, these two correspond together. So, this problem's probably a little more confusing because there's two different 10s. That kind of confuses us. So do you guys know what the proportion is?
4 over 10. Wait, no.
4 over 10 equals
10 over X.
10 over x. 4 over 10 equals 10 over x.
And then you cross,
And you cross multiply them.
but doesn't that be one? Just, yeah.
Okay, 4, no, we're not multiplying fractions. No, yeah, we're cross multiplying. We're not doing 4/10 times 10 over x.
Oh.
No. Okay, anyway,
Yes.
Sure.
4x equals 10 times 10, which is 100. What's 100 divided by 4?
Like 25 or something.
25. 4 quarters and a dollar, right?
I was.
Wait, is that
That's it. Okay, number 8's pretty similar to that. Probably 6 is too. I didn't really read 6.
6 was like easy.
Number 9. Okay, they want us to use proportions, but I don't think proportions help on 9 and 10, so we're not going to use it.
I hate these car things. It's like, when will the trains meet up? If they're going the same
Okay,
speed.
no, it's not that. It's not that.
But you
I hate that.
9 and 10 not convey proportions.
No, we're just going to solve it normally.
That chapter was.
Okay, well, as normal as we can get it. At 70 miles per hour, how far can Kelly go in 38 minutes? Round to the nearest tenth of a mile. Okay, so if she is going 70 miles per hour, how far will she get in an hour? 70 miles. So the question, that's not the answer. The question is, how far will she get in 38 minutes?
Like, almost like a little bit more than
Okay.
35 miles.
So in 1 hour, she'll go 70 miles. In 2 hours, how far will she get?
140.
In 3 hours, how far will she get?
280. Oh, thanks. 200.
Okay, what are we doing to find these numbers? We're doing her speed times how many hours she traveled, right? Rate times time. You remember that? Distance equals rate times time. But what if she was only going, instead of 1 hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours, what if she was only going 38 minutes?
Like, it's like 35.
Some fraction, yeah. What's a fraction?
38 over 60.
Yes. She's going, what fraction of an hour is she going? She's going 38/60ths of an hour. Because there's 60 minutes in an hour, and she's going 38 of those. So that's the fraction of an hour she's traveling. That's how long she's traveling in hours. So you take the rate times her time to get the distance. And then the directions said round it to the 10th place.
If only my calculator would work. She died. She cried. She's my mom.
Did you guys play basketball yesterday?
Yeah.
Who'd you play?
Alright.
Barry, you guys.
Someone
Guys
like,
and girls?
the high school played drummer. I had to see that. It was
Oh, they played somebody else.
yeah, it was a very good game. Someone yelled at their at the coach and they got like a warning or something.
Go.
Who won?
Drum right because
Boys.
Well, the boys won, the girls.
Wait, honestly,
yeah, the girls were just the girls coach started yelling at the refs and then he got
Okay.
all upset.
And then he like called.
I don't know, whatever 70 times 38/60 is.
Guys, watch this.
What'd you guys get for the answer number 9?
8.
I got 38.
40, what?
44 and 1/3.
44 and 1. Well, okay. What's, so that's 44.3333. If we round that to the tens place, what would that be? 44.3 miles.
Oh, dang it.
Okay, we probably should talk about number 10. This one definitely confounded the other class. At 26 miles a gallon, what does that mean? 26 miles per gallon.
Like 26 miles every time you go or something.
Every gallon.
Every gallon your car uses, it travels 26 miles.
Yeah.
You guys have probably heard something like that before, right?
Isn't that like really?
If you want to get really good gas mileage, you buy a little car, maybe even an electric car, because they don't use
Like
gas.
a
But
Toyota Prius.
yeah.
Toyota Prius is-
Anyways,
They have terrible long.
the car goes 26 miles per gallon. How far can Jose go on 90% of a 16-gallon tank? Round to the nearest mile.
That is the worst, like, 6.
Okay, so let's say let's pretend he had 1 gallon of gas. How far would he get?
16 and 26.
26 miles. What if he had 2 gallons of gas? How far would he get?
28.
26 times 2. Each gallon gives him 26 miles. What if he had 3 gallons of gas? 26 times 3,
Oh,
right?
6, 7, 16.
Okay, so anyways, 1 gallon of gas, he gets that far. 2 gallons of gas, he gets that far. 3 gallons of gas, he gets that far. How many gallons of gas does he have?
16.
90%.
90%.
Okay,
Oh, 90%
listen
times
carefully. Hold on.
16.
Shh, shh. Listen carefully. 90% of 16. Okay, 90% is 0.90 or 0.9 of 16 gallons. So he has 14.4. How far is he going to get?
14.4 times 16.
Yes, 26 times 14.4.
Okay, what? Use the calculator of truth. Oh, wait, they're already got the calculator.
374.
Says round to the nearest mile.
374 miles.
Whoops,
That's a lot.
I'm making a mess here.
What was it?
Yeah, 370.
It died.
Okay,
You died.
we're halfway there. Number 11, write the appropriate percent equation and solve. We kind of just did a percent equation, didn't we? So this will be maybe a little bit similar. Okay, number 11. Out of a class of 25 students, four were on the A average honor roll for the first grading period. So 4 out of 25 were on the A honor roll. What does that sound like to you? Fraction. Okay. 4 out of 25. So they're asking us what percent were on the high honor roll.
16.
How do we change that to a percent?
You could multiply 25 or divide.
But what do you calculate? How do you turn it into a decimal?
4 by 3.
Divide. Remember that the fraction bar is also a division bar. That's why it looks identical. 4 divided by 25 is 0.16, which is 16%. Remember changing decimals to percents?
Yeah.
Move it to the right. On the last problem, we turned a percent into a decimal. We changed 90% into 0.9. I kind of forgot what I was talking about. Oh, yeah, we could also turn it into a fraction. This only works in special cases,
Yeah.
but you can also turn it into a fraction over 100.
16.
But the problem is the bottom number has to go in 100 for that to work. So it only works occasionally. All right, number 13. 13. 14% of the 350 freshmen. So right there, I probably already know what the problem is. 14% of the 350 freshmen.
So 4.4 times 350.
Okay, now here's the problem though. 14% of 350 freshmen. It might not be asking, the question might not ask what is 14% of the 350. So you really do need to read the whole problem. It might ask, okay, let me read the problem. 14% of the 350 freshmen took driver training second semester. How many freshmen enrolled in the course? So they are asking for the 14% of 350. But they might have said like how many did not take the class. So you can't just necessarily just do what the first 5 words say. But in this case you can. 14% of 350 is 49.
Yeah, because 49 is like a Chad number.
Okay, number 15. Jonathan is supposed to practice piano 6 hours a week. Anybody play piano in you?
I
did.
I don't play part of the song.
Everybody used to,
I
okay.
know how to play part of that song. I can play that song.
Yeah, half a song. Okay, if, all right. He's supposed to practice 6 hours a week. He practiced 1 hour and 30 minutes on Monday. What % of his weekly practice time has he completed?
You do the math.
Okay, he practiced 1 hour and 30 minutes out of 6 hours. So how would I write that?
1 and 2.
He practiced 1 hour and 30 minutes out of 6 hours. So out of would be like a what? You can think of it as fraction.
Yeah.
But how do I do 1 hour and 30 minutes divided by 6?
You could do 90 to 6.
Well, you don't want to do 90 minutes because this one would be minutes and this one would be hours. Those are not
You
the
can
same.
change that to minutes. That'd be a lot.
You
though.
take some minutes.
Okay, you could change this to minutes. There's an easier way though. What's this in just
1 and a
hours?
half. 1 hour and a half.
1.5 or
1.5.
1.5. So you could change this to minutes and this to minutes, but it'd be easier to change them both to hours. An hour, 1.5 hours divided by 6 hours. How many 1.5s going to 6? You guys probably know this.
4?
4.
Yeah.
2 hour and a halves make 3 hours, right?
Well, we didn't say that because I.
And then 2 more of those would make 6 hours. So it takes 4 hour and a halves. So anyway, my point is if you do that divided by that, you get 0.25 or 25%. That's how much he completed, so how much is left for him to complete? 75%. Ugh. You're not actually doing it, Macy, we're just talking
No,
about something.
exactly, it's so confusing though.
Macy
This
just
is my-
feels the characters
This is
in
one of
it.
my, struggles, like changing
I
the
really
percent.
did not.
I just closed
I don't know why it's
Saxon.
like.
Oh my God, Saxon
Moving the
died.
decimal the wrong way?
Yeah, it's like, we're like, how do we change the fraction to percent or
Okay.
that?
Divide. Fraction bar looks exactly like a division bar because you can divide.
Yeah.
So divide, it turns it into a decimal, and then we turn the decimal into a percent.
Okay.
Pretty much all those you could do as fractions. Number 17, find the percent increase or decrease, round to the nearest tenth of a percent. Okay, this is a formula, a little formula we had for chapter 3, so you probably want to put this in your notes. Caden, what was it?
Percent change.
Percent change equals
Change over.
change divided by original. Change divided by original. And that would give us a decimal. We do need to change the decimal into a percent when we're doing percent change. Okay, on 17 it says we're going from the sales tax is going from 5.5% to 5.7%. So it doesn't really matter that it's a percent on this kind of,
So just
pretend that's not there. What is the change from 5.5 to 5.7?
5.7.
0.2.
What do you mean?
No, I mean like
Just
you
add
drop, like,
0.2.
how do
Okay.
It's up to
I
the
wouldn't
point
say
to
that.
No, but what do you mean?
Macy, the change is the difference, so
Yeah.
it's basically 5.7 minus.
No, that's what I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, right, you weren't here.
Anyway,
How do you do that?
the change is 0.2 divided by, what's the original?
But that's 5.5.
Original means the
I'm
first.
gonna borrow this.
5.5, plug that in your calculator. The directions said round it to 0.1%. So somebody tell me what they get on this.
0.036.
3.6, wasn't it 3.6 repeating?
It just goes like that.
Okay. But we're supposed to, we want percent change. So how do I change this to a percent?
3%.
Move it twice, and then be
3.6. Okay, if this was a 6 right here, or something like 7, this would have rounded up to a 3.7. But it's not, so it's closer to 3.6% than 3.7.
Oh my goodness, oh.
Okay, this is an important formula. You'll probably need it for like 2 questions on the, 2 would be like a lot
Why are you growling?
for just one concept. Okay, number 25. Find the total amount repaid on the following simple interest loans.
Wasn't it like we all?
You might want to write this formula down too. What?
Wasn't it like you multiplied 2,800 by 20?
Wow.
You're stupid, don't try.
Yes, it was a bunch
I
of.
wasn't right.
It was a bunch of multiply. To find interest, simple interest, you do principal times rate times time.
You're stupid.
What does principal mean? It means the starting amount, like the amount you borrowed or the amount you invested. So, you guys remember what interest meant? Maybe I should start with that. Interest is the extra amount you have to pay when you borrow money, or it's the extra amount you get when you invest money. So, if you guys have a savings account, anybody have a savings account here? You're going to get a little bit of money from the bank, and that's called interest. If you borrow money from the bank, if you take out a loan, anybody have a loan in here?
Do you?
I'm kidding. Yeah, almost all adults have a loan on their house. A lot of them have loans on their car and college also.
Money.
On the house, it's called a mortgage. Anyways, forgot what I was talking about. The extra money, when you give the money bank, when you give the bank money, the extra money they give you is called interest. When you borrow, the extra money you pay them is interest. Okay, principal is the initial amount borrowed or invested. Rate is the percentage of however much you borrow, what percent of that do you have to pay extra. Time is how many years have you borrowed it. Okay. On number 25, it says $2,800. Guess what that is?
That's a lot of money.
That's the principal. And then nope, I'm on the wrong one. 5%, what should I put for that? 0.05. Move the decimal twice, right? 5%, the decimal's right there. Move it twice, it becomes 0.05. As a normal decimal number. And then the time is 2 years, so guess what?
2.
Put it times 2.
Oh my gosh, I thought it'd be like 700 and like 30.
Okay, yeah, it should come out, if you plug that in, it should come out as $280. Does that mean we have to pay the bank $280?
No,
That's how much we get.
per year,
Well,
per 2 years, right? Per month.
okay, if we borrowed $2,800, you think we just have to pay back $280?
Yes.
Oh.
No.
We'd have to pay back that.
Oh, you added the.
Right.
month.
So if they are just asking for the interest, that would be $280. But the bank's gonna lose money if you only pay them $280 because they gave you $2,800.
Yeah.
So how much in total do we have to pay back?
3,000.
Right, $2,800 plus 280. So you have to look at what the question is asking. Are they asking for the interest only, or are they asking for the total amount you have to pay back?
For 24, is it like kind of the same, even though it's a month?
Okay, on 24, it says 8 months. Is that the same thing as 8 years? No, we don't want to put a times 8 there.
So it's
Point.
8
Oh.
No, not point 8.
Yeah, because,
It's eight.
What fraction of a year is 8 months?
oh,
It's 8/12 of a year. It does reduce to 2/3. But yeah, so don't put 8 on number 24 for the time. You want to put 8/12 or 2/3 for the time. You guys probably forgot most of those, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's all coming back. It's all coming back to you though, right?
Slowly.
Yeah,
yes.
I
Still a
remember
little
some of
iffy,
it.
but we'll get there.
Okay.
Are you thinking
Hi.
something can't come back if it was never there in the first place?
I got that.
It's just a lot at once.
I learn it, you do a grade on the test, and it just leaves me.
And then it floats.
Well, what about adoption?
Yeah.
How does adoption work? They all what? They
Okay,
come back.
speaking of things you probably forgot, last problem. Find the sales given the commission and the commission rate. What is commission?
it's the thing that you're getting back, right?
It's
So
the
I've
piece
It's
extra. It's like if someone sold a house, they get a commission of the house. They get a small
The
percentage
realtor.
of the
Right.
overall pay.
A commission is the amount of money that the person gets when they sell something, like a house or a car. So they're motivated to try to sell you stuff so that they can get some of the money that they sell. Yeah, so a realtor sells houses, right? They might get, I don't know, 15% or something, 20. So if they sell $100,000 house, they might get to keep 15,000 of that.
My mom never makes that much over $100,000 for like.
I don't remember what a commission is, but
She usually makes like
10% maybe?
under 7.
Is that under 7? Okay. I'm way off.
It's,
Lawyers get
yeah, lawyers.
sinful commissions. All right, anyways.
Isn't it 960 times 0.3?
So the commission rate would be what percentage the salesperson gets to keep. So on number 27, the salesperson gets 30%. So 30% of what they sell gives them their commission, gives them 30% of what they sell, gives them their commission, which was $160. So should what they sell be bigger or smaller than $960? Bigger, quite bigger. They're only getting 30% of what they sell, gives them $960. So how do I solve this for S, for what they sell?
You divide by.
Divide by 0.3.
280.
It's gotta be bigger, 960, whatever it is. It would be, let's see, 3,200, yeah.
Wow.
Money.
How did you do that?
Yeah?
How did you do that? I mean, I know how you did that, but.
960 divided by 3 is 320, and then the decimal moves once.
I did, but
Oh, that's smart.
Wait, you mean how I did the whole problem? We already talked
No,
about that.
just ignore me.
I'm not gonna repeat all that.
Bro, what are you talking about?
You see that.
We got that. Gucci shoes.